The Grey Witch and the Daughters. To the east of our empire in the middle of the great eastern sea lies a chain of islands who was at one time ruled by an emperor who some say was as great as ours. This emperor was not just powerful but wise. He used to sit beneath his Bodhi tree and contemplated all that was, is, and might be. One day he sat there and contemplated something much more tangible. He had heard something that troubled him greatly. The Grey Witch had heard of the beauty, kindness and goodness of the emperor's daughters and, as the Grey Witch often did with women she considered rivals, promised that she would ruin them. As the emperor was thinking of what he should do, a crane walked up to him. "Forgive me for interrupting your meditation, Emperor." And the crane bowed. "No forgiveness is needed, great crane spirit." The emperor knew it must be the crane spirit that watched over his people, for what other crane could speak? "I was trying to find my way through a problem but as of yet have found none." "Is this about the Grey Witch and your daughters?" "Yes, I see you have heard." "Yes, and that is why I am here. I believe I have a solution for your problem." "Oh really, great crane?" And the emperor temporarily lost control of his calm exterior. "Thank you. It will be of no small sacrifice from you, but will keep them out of the reach of the Grey Witch." "Is there no other way?" "I have found no other, but let me tell you and then I'll let you decide." The emperor nodded. "Though the Grey Witch is powerful, she is not the most powerful force on the earth. The dragon, spirit of the White Mountain, is more powerful. You must go to him and tell him of your problem. Then ask him to take your daughters to his palace at the top of the mountain, and for their safety allow no one to enter the palace that does not pass his warrior's test. I can put them under a spell to survive, for no food is allowed upon the hill. But no one has ever passed his warrior's test. And neither would the Grey Witch. I must think on this, for if this is done I shall never see my daughters again. I would expect nothing less. Call me when you have decided." The crane turned and flew away. For 3 days the emperor thought of how to save his daughter from the Grey Witch and discussed it with his daughters, and then he called the great crane. "I have found no other way. I will go and summon the dragon spirit of the White Mountain and see if he will keep my daughters under his protection. When you have made all the arrangements and are ready for them to ascend, call me and I shall come." The emperor went to the plateau near the White Mountains and summoned the dragon. "Who summons me? Are you here for my warrior's test? It has been so long since anyone has tried." "It is the emperor, and no, I have not come for your test but to ask for your help." "Interesting, go on." "You see, I have 2 beautiful, intelligent and kind daughters, so much so that the Grey Witch has heard of them and now is seeking to destroy them." "Ah, the Grey Witch. Yes, she is no good. What exactly would you like me to do?" "I would like you to take my daughters to your palace and keep them there and let no human enter who does not pass your warrior's test. I can see 2 problems. The first is that they will die since no food can be brought to the top of the mountain." "Yes, the great crane spirit said he will put them under a spell in which they would stay asleep and not need any food." "And the second problem?" "Just that, no human has ever passed my warrior's test." "Oh yes, now I see. That will keep the Grey Witch from her." He thought for a second. "If you really want this done, I can see you're a true and noble person and will do as you ask. Go and ready yourself and your daughters, for when I take them up to my palace you shall never see them again." "Thank you, great white dragon spirit." The emperor went home and told his daughters that the white dragon spirit will take them to his palace. They cried. The next day the emperor and his daughters walked to the plateau and called the crane. "I see all is ready then?" "Yes, when you have put my daughters under the spell I shall call the white dragon and he shall take them to his palace. Say you final goodbyes and I will put the spell on them." The emperor hugged his daughters one last time but did not cry, for that was something emperors should not do in public. The crane touched the forehead of the daughters with his beak and the daughters went to sleep. "Oh great and powerful white dragon spirit," the crane here for some reason winced his face very slightly, "we are ready for you to come and take my daughters to your palace." The white dragon appeared and said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Yes, there is no other way." The white dragon picked up the girls who were lying on boards and took her to his palace and left the crane and the emperor alone. It is done then. Yes, it is. The great crane then started to change. The great crane was none other than the Grey Witch. It was you this whole time, but why? You do not get it? It appears your daughters did not get their intelligence from you. They will remain in his palace forever and will soon be forgotten, and I will be here as beautiful as ever, and what makes it even better is that you will never see them again. She laughed and flew away back to the mainland so she could continue her search for immortality. The emperor had been tricked and defeated. He would never see his daughters again. He went back to his palace and ate just enough to survive. He ceased to administer justice to his people. He ceased to appoint capable individuals to governmental offices and remove incompetent ones from them. The empire continued to function, but only because the noble families did what needed to be done. There were some disagreements that occurred between the families about what should be done, but the incidents were always resolved by their respect for the true emperor, the reason they took on the added responsibilities. That all changed with the emperor's death. There was no true heir, so the noble families fell upon each other trying to gain ascendancy over the other families and become the next emperor. One family would come close to complete power, and then all the other families would put aside their differences and bring the family low, and then another family would rise and it in turn would be brought down. 200 years followed with constant warfare. On the 200th anniversary of the death of the last emperor, the head monk at the great Buddhist temple had a vision one day during his meditation. The great crane came to him. There has been too much devastation on my people. Great crane, there has been too much devastation of your people for some time now. Why have you not come earlier to help us earlier? I have but one solution to your dilemma, and as with many things, the timing must be right for any chance of success. Now I believe is that time. But how can I trust you? The last time the great crane appeared to a person, it was in fact the Grey Witch. You cannot, but hear my advice, and if you think it prudent, follow it. Send your 2 strongest and most learned warrior monks to the White Mountains and have them take the Spirit Dragon's warrior test. No one has ever passed that test. Yes, and that is why I waited so long. If one of them can pass the test, he can go to the palace and bring back the emperor's daughters. Their husbands will rule until a son, when they have one, will have the only legitimate claim to be emperor. All the families will have to accept the new order and fall in line. But who will they marry? What if they do not have a son? Yes, all are legitimate questions, but we can do nothing until that time arrives. We must first focus on getting them down. I see. I will think on this. The next 2 days the head monk meditated on this without substance. At the end he called 2 warrior monks before him. We have all suffered from these wars. Have we not? Yes. To end this you two must go to the White Mountains and take the Spirit Warrior's test and bring the Emperor's daughters back. How shall we remove the spell and awaken them? That is simple. You must remove the spell from the forehead of the daughters. Once done they should awaken as if nothing had happened. Now go. Yes, master, at once. The 2 warrior monks traveled to the White Mountains and summoned the dragon spirit. Who awakens the dragon spirit of the White Mountains? We do. And who are we and what do we want? We are warrior monks from the temple here to take your warrior's test to bring down the emperor's daughters. Let's look at you. You who think you are deserving of such a great honor. The dragon spirit flew around the 2 monks and settled back in front of them. I guess we will see if you are worthy. Are you ready for the 3 tests? Yes, we are, replied the monks. Then what is truth? Truth is everything and truth is nothing. I see you are learned monks indeed. Arm yourselves and prepare to fight yourselves. The 2 monks put on their armor and readied their short and long swords. When they were readied they looked at the dragon spirit, who bowed to them and said, "Then fight." The monks bowed to the spirit and then at each other, then pulled their swords and fell up on each other. Going this way and that for 45 minutes when one slipped on a piece of ice and fell. The other monk put his sword to the fallen monk's neck and the fallen monk surrendered his sword. So monk, you have passed 2 of the tests. The spirit said to the one standing. 1 more and you shall be the first warrior to pass my test and be able to bring the emperor's daughter down from the mountain. Now kill your fellow monk. The monk stood there with sword in hand for a moment and said no. What do you mean by no, monk? I mean that his skill is every bit as good as mine, and were it not for bad luck on his part or good luck on mine, I should be in his place. But for this one life you risk thousands of people yet to be born from these insistent wars? I will not take his life. The dragon thought for a second and smiled. You have then passed my test. Come with to my palace and take the emperor's daughters with you. The 2 monks flew on the dragon to the palace. Before the 2 monks laid the 2 daughters on their ice beds on which they had laid for over 200 years. How shall we remove the spell? One monk said to the other. With water, of course, replied the other. What water? I have none on me and there is none here unless you have some? No, I do not. He thought for a second and licked his lips and kissed one of the daughters' foreheads. She coughed and then started to sit up. The other monk did likewise to the other daughter and she in turn awoke. The monks and the daughters then climbed on the spirit and he took the down the mountain. From there the monks took the daughters to their temple. The daughters had a great many questions. They asked about their father and the monks told them as best as they could about what had happened and the wars that had occurred since. The monks also told them jokes they had known and songs they had sung and general stories from their life. The daughters responded in kind and in this way went to the temple. On arriving at the temple, the monks brought the daughters to the head of the temple. So, it appears I have chosen wisely who I had sent. The master then looked at his monks and the daughters and how they looked at each other. Monks, I fear something has changed in you on your trip. No, master, nothing has changed in us. Do not lie to me. Daughters, how do you feel about these monks? They are kind and brave but are no more to us. Even emperor's daughters lie to the master monk of the order. Admit your feelings, monks. Yes, we have feeling for them, but we have pledged life to the temple and even if we didn't there is no way they could feel the same about us. Daughters, what do you have to say to that? We do love them but such things are not allowed because they are monks. Yes, yes. I see. I am sorry that I am going to have to lose my best 2 monks. Go now, be married and mend the islands. The 2 monks did in fact marry the 2 emperor's daughters and brought peace to the islands. They co-ruled the empire. Each had a son. One chose to be a monk and the other became emperor when he came of age.